Hello and welcome back to Path of Exile Necropolis League. This is episode 3 of a series dedicated to new players and to help them guide them step by step through the endgame and mapping in Path of Exile, because it's really overwhelming. You get done with the campaign and you're thrown into this and there's so much content to do. So we're going to take it really slow, explain everything in detail, and have a good time doing it. So let's do it. Cool. In our first episode, we went over how to run a map, complete a map, and get the bonus point, how to put your map device there, and also turn a map from regular into a magic map so that you can actually get awarded the points, and to look out for, if you hold Alt, there's a prefix and a suffix on there, and it's a mod, and to look out for stuff like reflect elemental damage if you do elemental damage. And it could, you could instantly just get killed if you walk into one of those. So we went over that in the first episode. We also went over, if you hold down Alt, it'll tell you if you've completed this map and got the bonus objective point for it too. So that's really nice. If you got a bunch of maps in your inventory, hold down Alt and it'll say in red, incomplete. And then in the second episode, we got you through the very first tier of maps, where you get your first 4 Atlas points, and I'll bring this up. I press G. We completed the first map, the 4 maps, but you could complete like 1 in tier 2. You could do that. You don't have to complete them perfectly in order. And then we spent our first 4 Atlas points here, 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 and here. And this got June, the betrayal content, to have a 40% rate of showing up, so that we could get June, we could get those veiled items, unveil them, and unlock the crafts in our crafting bench. And we went over all of that. So let's do the next step. A lot of the times you're looking at a situation where you want to upgrade your gear, but for one reason or another, you've got to maps and the end game, you've completed the campaign, and you go over here and you look at your, if you have a currency tab, which I highly recommend getting, and you look in here and you only have 3 chaos and a couple of these, and maybe you have some of that and some of this, but you're really stuck, and you just need a little bit of chaos. Even 10 chaos would help immensely. So I'm going to show you how to do that. It's not the most efficient use of your time as you start getting more and more efficient at finding loot, but this first 10 chaos, maybe even 20, it's worth it, and it'll get you over the hump if you're frustrated and can't get any chaos. So let's do that. We're going to show you a few ways. The first thing we're going to go over is called the chaos recipe. And a chaos recipe is a vendor recipe that allows you to sell a certain set. It's 9 items, possibly 10, but we're going to stick with 9 items. If they're ID'd and identified, if you sell that set of 9 items, you'll get 1 chaos. But if they're unID'd, you're going to get 2. And here's the other important thing. They have to be between item level 60 and 74. So what I've done is I've set 2 tabs up here. This one and this one. And I know that I'm going to sell, I just like having the weapons like this. You could do a single-handed sword or something like that, and a shield, and that would count. But basically, I set up 2 of these tabs, and then I start filling up body armor and 2-handed weapons. And I hold down Alt as I hover over them, and see it's item level 72, so that's going to be okay, and it's going to work. If any of these are ID'd, even one of them, you're not going to get the 2 chaos, you'll only get the 1. And you just got to make sure they're rare and unID'd and between this level. So let's actually do this recipe. And by recipe, I mean it's just a set of items that if you vendor, you'll get this reward. So the first 2 items you're going to be looking around and picking these things up. And as this fills up, you're going to end up with this completely full. And you'll take a couple out. And then you'll go over to this tab, and I've made a row for helms, a row for gloves, and a row for boots. Then over here, I put a couple of amulets, some rings, and a belt. And if you look at it, this is what it comes down to. You're basically getting rewarded for turning in, hopefully unID'd. You're going to turn in one of each of these things on here. So a 2-handed weapon, a chest, a belt, and a ring. And if you look at it, this is what it comes down to. You're basically getting rewarded for turning in, hopefully unID'd. You're going to turn in one of each of these things on here. So a 2-handed weapon, a chest, a belt, and a ring. And if you look at it, this is what it comes down to. You're basically getting rewarded for turning in, hopefully unID'd. You're going to turn in one of each of these things on here. So a the helm, boots, and gloves, 2 rings, an amulet, and that. So I've got it set up right here. So let's go ahead and take that. Oh, and I'll even put it at the bottom so it's nice and that. I'll take one of these, 2 rings, and an amulet. And I'm not going to ID them. And then I'm going to come right up here and I'm going to hold control and left click because we placed the lily right here on purpose so that when I'm in my inventory, I can still see her and just left click on her. It opens up the cell thing. We're just going to click all these in by holding control and left clicking them in. And sure enough, I get 2 chaos, just like that. Now, when I'm out in the field and looking for things, these rows are going to fill up. You're going to fill up, you know, a complete row of helms and gloves and boots, and you'll even probably fill up one of these. But what you're going to be low on most likely are rings and maybe some belts or some amulet. These jewelry items are a little harder to find. So it comes down to it. You'll sit there and you'll fill these up and you're like, okay, I'm ignoring all these now. And now all I'm looking for is some rings and amulets and maybe a couple belts. And then it comes down to, I'm just looking for some rings. And then you sit there and you'll have you don't want to do one at a time here. So you'll wait till this gets filled up with, maybe like 5 sets. And then you can turn them all in the vendor and just get a bunch of chaos. It's not the most efficient because you're going to get, this takes time to pick up these things and try to remember. And there's apps, third-party apps that'll help you. It'll show you which items you need and highlight them on the ground. But this works and it's not that bad. And you shouldn't be doing this recipe for much longer than once you get in and start rolling in the currency. So we just got 2. I'll take it. Now for the next thing. This next one is going to require you to have, not necessarily require, but it's going to make it a lot easier if you have an ability to have a public tab. And that by that I mean a tab that is an upgraded tab that allows you to sell things from it. And what happens is you can right click on this tab right here and you can turn it into a public tab so that other people can see it. And then you can price the items. You can set the prices individually. You can set them for all the, like I have a tab that's listed for 100 chaos, and anything I put in there will be shown on the trade website for 100 chaos. So I've got a tab right here, and we'll just cancel out of that. And there we go. So I've got this one set and ready. If you don't have this, I really wouldn't suggest, there's ways around it, but I wouldn't suggest doing this next step, which is, I have a quad tab, but you could use a regular one. But if you have a quad tab and you just start chucking a bunch of rares in here and they're un-ID'd at first, you're just throwing them in here. You don't even care. You're just throwing them in there. You can then fill this thing up. And I've done this multiple times on a test run through the campaign. And if you have a full quad tab, which is 4 regular tabs worth of gear, what you do is, we'll take this out. I'll be right back. So you take everything out, you ID it, so hold down shift and just ID all this stuff. And if it's anything of interest, you can actually take a look at it and you say, okay, is that good? But that's going to require you to really get a better understanding, and you're not there yet, of what a good item is or not. If you don't want to do that and you have the extra selling tabs, you could just chuck all this in a 20 chaos tab that says is listed for 20 chaos, and maybe you'll get lucky. But otherwise, it's unlikely. So then we're just going to come over here and chuck everything in here. Just like that. Okay. Oh, and that one. Cool. And then we're going to do it again. And you're going to rinse and repeat this until this thing is empty. And you're going to end up making 20 chaos, and I'll show you how. So now we have these, and you're thinking, and that's what we were targeting. Oh, let's sell this item. This is what we're targeting. For a full one of these, you're going to get, I think it was, I averaged about 60 alteration, a little more than that, 60 alteration, orbs of alteration. And now we're going to actually sell them. So let's go up here. So if I filled up a whole thing, I would have 60. Well, I've done it where I've saved up 120 multiple times during the campaign. just doing that, selling them. So when I entered the campaign, I had over 100 chaos, and I'd already spent 80 chaos on different items to help enjoy the campaign more. But if you do this during the campaign, you'll easily enter the campaign with 100 chaos. So now we're going to show you how to do the next step. You're going to take 120 of these. You can do 120, and if you hold Alt, it'll count them up for you in this whole inventory. I have 120, and then maybe a little more, maybe like 5 more, and I'll explain why. So we've got 120 of these. So let's go to the next step. So the next step is to go to pathofexile.com/trade and make sure you're on the right league and you're not in standard, and you're going to set this to online only. And then we're going to switch over to bulk, and we want to see what the price is of these alteration orbs of alteration. So we're going to items that I want, even though you're becoming a seller instead of a buyer. So you're going to sell those because people have chaos and they want these. So now click that, and then we're going to come down here and we're going to say the minimum stock of 100, we'll say 120, so that you'll be compared to other sellers that have 120 of these things. And let's search. We'll scroll to the top. Now here's the current price. If somebody pays 100, they'll get 400 of those. So you notice I had 600 alteration orbs in there. That's worth 100 chaos. I could sell them for that much. So then we look down here and we look at somebody's selling 27 for that. Okay, they might be legit. Some people just put these prices up here and they never respond. So you don't necessarily want to undercut everybody on this. But if you did, you're definitely going to get a sale very quickly. But we want to shoot for 3 chaos per. So it looks like we'd be around here. So if I sold all of those 120 for 40 chaos, that's 3 to 1, we would be listed right here. But I'm going to put an extra 5 in there so that we get bumped up the list. Maybe we'll get it right up to about in here. So we'll sell 125 for 40. So let's do that in the next step. So I'm going to go to my sell tab, and I'm going to hold down Control and Shift. Otherwise, it's going to get put in here, because on here, if you right click, the affinity, meaning that it'll try to put it in here no matter what tab you're on, because it's currency, it'll try to put it in there. That's because you have this clicked. So we're going to go here and we're going to hold down Control and Shift, and that'll override that. So here we go. There, I've got 120 and 5. And we're going to go like this. So we know we have 125 in there. And the next step is to actually figure out the way to list this. So what you do is you're going to right click, you're going to say exact price, and it's priced in chaos. So how many chaos did I want for that? I wanted 40. So we type in 40 and then a /, and we're going to give you 125 of this item that we just were selling. And we're going to say yes. So now it's listed. We have enough in here in this tab to meet the demand for 125. If I put 250 in here, I could sell 2 sets of 40. And somebody might buy all of those. So they'll get 250 for 80 chaos. Or they would just buy 1 set. So let's, what we're going to do is we're going to force the trade site to get updated. It works pretty consistently. Last league it was instant. This league it's lagging by a few seconds. But what you do is you come to your portal, just go into the Aspirants Plaza. It's because it's an easy, quick load, and come right back. And now I can go in there and check, and we will, to make sure we're listed on there. So let's do that. So it took about 10 seconds, maybe 15, and it updated. We just push search, and we scroll down, and I'm looking for mine. There we are at 0.32. So we're at 3. You get 3.12. So we made it above this guy. Oh, he's selling at a similar price. So what I would do is, let's say these weren't selling very quickly, I could put another 10 in there and we'd move up. So let's do that just to get the sale a little bit quicker. So I'm going to hold shift and then put this at 10. We'll put 10 more on there just to give it a bonus, and it's a better ratio, so we'll move higher up the list. And let's see, under the sell tab, we're going to throw another 10 in here, and we're going to right click, and we're going to change that to 135 because the prices do fluctuate. We'll say yes. Now that's the new price. 40 chaos for 135 of these. If we hold Alt, that's the 135. Very cool. And I'm just going to try to update this again. It's unfortunate because last league this thing was updating really, really quickly. Like within 1 second. If you hopped in and hopped out, it would be updated. And that's why what happens is when we do list something for sale that's good, and you're like, okay, nobody's whispering me, and then you hop into a map, well, it updates, and then you get whispered, and you're like, I was just there, and now... So that's why that happens. So we were listed, let's see, right here, and now, so it's not even, they gotta go down the list a bit. So let's search, and let's see if that moved us up the list. There we go. Now we're up here. So now I'm happy with that, and I'm just going to let that go, and we'll see if these sell pretty soon. Cool. They should. A little bit of a side note. Occasionally, you're going to see this thing pop up, and it says Unclaimed Kyrix Reward. It's a vault pass, and all you do to claim that is go over here, go to your epilogue, go right there, come in here, and we're going to go right down, put on the map, and see this long passageway? Each time you unlock and do more and more maps, you'll get more and more of these unlocked, and it's for each account, but it's also bound to the league. So if you do the league and the mode, so this is for the monthly vault pass that you can buy, that costs money, and then you get these special rewards down here. But then you can also just get free rewards just by doing, it's a free game, so you can actually get free rewards. And we have to come way down here to find out. I opened these already. I did all that. Let's see. It is this one. Cool. And if we had the pass, we would get this thing, a mystery box, all kinds of different things. But we want this. And it's right over here. Very cool. I'll take it. And you can actually sell that. Let's see how much it's worth. 23 chaos. Not too bad. And then we have to do a little bit more to unlock this one right here. Nice. Also, if you do if you type in /hideout, just like that, you can go right back to your hideout. Pretty cool. If the price has moved on these alteration shards, just keep on adding a little bit more until you move yourself up the list. I'm content with this. I'm in no rush. But if you're in a big rush, maybe 135 isn't going to cut it. Maybe 150. Put 150 for 40 chaos, and you'll be definitely up the list, and you'll get buyers a lot sooner. But I'm content. I'm actually content with 120 right at 3-1. I could definitely wait. But if you need the money and you want the chaos faster, do it that way. So let's go over the next thing. A lot of times you're in a situation where you're out there hunting and your health is dropping really fast, and you want your health back instantly. And you're thinking, okay, I want an instant recovery thing. And you could go on the trade site and look for something that had instant recovery on it and a divine flask at this point. And you're thinking, wait a second, instant recovery, but it's only 816 health. And this thing only has, 3 uses? It wouldn't even get me back there. So what I like using instead of instant recovery is this thing called instant recovery when low on life. Low on life generally is 50% or less. Then what happens is it'll heal me for 2477, and I improved that because I used some of these Glassbore's baubles and improved the quality. And we're going to show you how to actually make one of these yourself. Now here's the thing. It can get expensive. Because you're going to be using these, and we already saw that these are worth anywhere from 3 to 4 of them are worth a chaos. Well, you're going to be using these to roll this, so do you really want to do that? Or would you just rather go buy a somewhat okay version of that? So, it's up to you, but usually I buy these, but because they get pretty expensive, actually, this one I think was 35 chaos. It grants me immunity to poison. It had a low, see that 14% reduced amount? Well, that can be up to 29-30% reduced. So it makes a bigger impact, and they already had it qualityed up to 19% or something, or 20%. So it was, to me, it was worth the 35 chaos. But 35 chaos is a lot when you're starting out, so we're going to make one ourselves. So here we go. First off, I want to scour this thing down so that I can quality it up cheaply by only using 4 of these instead of 10. So let's do that. We're going to scour it. We don't want that on there. We're going to scour it off. So it's just back to a blank. And then we're going to go like this 4 times. Hold shift and just go once. See how it goes up by 5 quality? And notice how much the recovery rate goes up. It was 2,500, 2,600, 27. Pretty cool. That's the first step. And this really isn't selling fast enough just to my liking, so I'm going to right click. I'm going to say 150 of them. That should move us way up the list. There we go. And we're targeting bulk buyers by saying, hey, well, you could do it for something like 10 for, what is that, 15 of them? Or no, I'm sorry, 4 for 15 and sell them a little bit at a time, but I want to do a bulk sale. So there we go. So we got 150 of these listed now. And I'll update this again. But if I'm more patient, the more patient you are, the better the price you'll get. Cool. So the next step on this one, we're going to actually turn it into a magic flask. And we're going to hope for, we're looking for instant recovery when low on life. And pretty much nothing else. We don't care about anything else on there so far. So let's get a stack of these, and we're going to grab some augments for just in case. So here we go. Step 1, shift. We're going to shift and left click on this, and we're going to roll. Now we have a stack of 20. That's worth about, what, 5 chaos at least? So here we go. Once, twice. Burning, that's okay. We could augment that and see if it'll, because that's the suffix, and the thing we're shooting for is a prefix. So we could get lucky and get the prefix. Nope. And we're going to keep rolling. One again. No, we don't want that one. Charge recovery. Nope. Ooh, instant. There. I think we did it. And it also recovers an additional 20% of flask life recovery amount over 10 seconds if used while not on full life. That's actually pretty good. That's actually might be really valuable. And a 19% roll. That's not great. Let's see what this sells for. I'm kind of interested. We'll just click all these. And this is called PoE Awaken Trade. We'll go over that later. This one, if I highly doubt somebody's selling this for only 2 chaos. But we just rolled that. I think we could probably sell that for 50 chaos. I would have bought it. I think we could definitely sell it for 35. But people, well, there's a divine. This might be actually a really good item. We just stumbled over it. And you saw that we spent about 1 chaos. Pretty cool. Nice. I actually want to use this. It's better than what I have. And I don't mind the no poison thing. Nice. And then it says recovers an additional 20% of flask life recovery amount. So another, what is that? Another 400 over 10 seconds. So, like another, that's like 40 per second. I might just sell it. Let's sell it. We'll sell it. We'll try to sell it for 100. We'll sell it for 99 chaos. Just a little bit less than the other guy. There we go. And we're going to shift and left click these away, or control click those away. And away we go. Nice. Later in this series, I'm going to go over how to craft your own flasks and make a lot of money doing that as well. There's so many things to come. It's really exciting. And there it is. Let's do it. Invite. And it's only 150. Let's get these out of here. Oh, he wants the 160. It's sold. Let's go into this. And we're going to go. And he wanted 150. Here's 150. Cool. And we'll trade him. And I'll just tell him the other one we're sold. I think that's 150. Hold Alt. Yep. And then you can hold Control and Shift. Click them over. hover over these. It's 40 and 150, accept. And whisper, thank you. And we'll leave the party, and then we're going to mention to that other guy that they were sold. Whisper, sold. There we go. So now we have 40 chaos and at the 150 mark. I saw other people in the list actually getting sold out up, and we were moving up the list because they were getting sold out. So probably could have got 140. I think a couple days ago it was easier to get 120. 3 to 1. So we got any like 3.5 to 1, 3 3.75 to 1. Nice. And we'll just put those in our stash, and more chaos. I hope this has helped you. We're going to be going over a lot more in the next series, the next episodes. And there's so many tips and tricks to be able to do things. Oh, let's update that. And go right back in, and we'll say sold. If you get spammed, you can move into D&D mode, and you could do something like that. Oh, sold. And then you could type in D&D if you're really getting spammed. And then you could turn it off again just by typing D&D again. All right, I don't want to make the episodes too long. We learned a lot here. We actually know how to make one of those and or buy one. And the last tip, if you press Y for your Pantheons, which you should have been doing during the campaign, you can go up back and find them. You can. I like using this one. The reason being is enemies that I've hit recently have a 50% reduced life regen, and I'm going to show you how to actually capture that boss and unlock that. Because see how it's grayed out up there? I still have to capture those bosses. But down here, it's captured. And not only that, my one single life flask will slowly recharge if I haven't used it recently. And then not only that, it's 60% increased life recovery from flasks when I'm low on life. So it's even 60% higher than that. So you're looking at 2,500, another 15-ish. So we're looking at 4,000. That's a full heal for one use of a flask. And I get 3 shots at that when I'm on low life. So that's what I do, and have fun. I'll see you in the next episode. This is a lot of fun for me, and I hope I'm not too verbose. I talk a lot, but I have a good time. Enjoy. We're going to get you there.